I know how this sounds before I even start. You'll think it's an exaggeration or I'm just trying to scare you. But I swear on everything I have left, this happened. And if I'm telling you now, it's because I need someone to know, even if you don't believe me. Let me take you back to the fall of 2019, right before the world fell apart for everybody else. For me, the unraveling started early. I just moved into a rental house on the edge of town. One of those weird little one-story homes with sagging gutters and a chain-link fence that doesn't quite close. It was cheap, suspiciously cheap, but I was fresh out of a job, trying to freelance, and couldn't afford to be picky. It was a 2-bedroom place, though I was living alone. The second room was going to be my office, or so I told myself, but really I just filled it with unopened boxes and told guests, not that I had many, that it was still in progress. The house had a smell when I moved in. You know, the one, like dust and something older, something settled. I figured it was just the carpet or the vents. I opened the windows and let it breathe, but it didn't go away. Not completely. Not ever. The weird stuff started small. I'd hear scratching sometimes. Not like rats. I know what that sounds like. This was more deliberate, like fingertips on drywall. Always at night, and always in the walls between the living room and the second bedroom. I told myself it was old pipes, or maybe the house was just adjusting, creaking in the cold. But one night, I was watching TV and it stopped me cold, because the scratching wasn't random anymore. It was a pattern. 3 scratches, a pause, 2 more, like a knock, or a code. I muted the TV, heart thudding. Waited. It came again. Scratch, 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 pause, scratch, scratch. I don't know why, but I whispered, "Hello?" And it stopped. The next day, I knocked on the wall where I'd heard it. It felt solid, normal. I even tapped all along it, looking for hollow spots, thinking maybe there was some weird crawl space I hadn't noticed. I found one. It was subtle. A faint outline behind where the old bookshelf stood in the second bedroom. When I moved the shelf, I saw a square patch of drywall that didn't quite match the rest, like someone had replaced part of it at some point. There were screw holes, too, the kind you'd use to secure a panel. I didn't open it. Not then. Instead, I started doing what most people do when something weird happens. I ignored it. I pushed the shelf back and told myself it was nothing. But the scratching got worse. Now, it wasn't just at night. I'd hear it in the early morning or mid-afternoon when I was working on my laptop. Sometimes soft, sometimes angry, almost like something was frustrated. Then I started hearing breathing. I wish I was joking. Late at night, in bed, I'd hear it. Slow, shallow breaths, coming through the vent near the floor. Just a whisper of air, but not mine. I bought a carbon monoxide detector, installed it the next day. I was half convinced I was just hallucinating, that the house was making me sick, but the detector never beeped. Then one morning, I found the bookshelf moved. Just an inch or 2, but definitely moved. I stood there for a long time staring at it. I hadn't touched it in weeks. No one else had been in the house. I even checked the front door. Still locked. Windows, too. I'm not dumb. I double-checked everything, but the shelf had moved. That's when I called my friend Marcus. He's the kind of guy who thinks everything is funny until it's not. I told him the house was making noises, and I was pretty sure something was behind the wall. He laughed. Like a raccoon? No, I said, like a person. He didn't laugh after that. To his credit, Marcus came over that weekend with a crowbar and a flashlight, ready to play Ghostbusters. We moved the shelf again. The patch of wall was still there, still faintly different in color. Marcus rapped his knuckles on it and looked at me. "You sure about this?" I nodded. My stomach was twisting. He pried the panel loose. Behind it was darkness. Not a crawl space, not a pipe, a room, a tiny room, maybe 6 feet by 4, just big enough to lie down in. No windows, just old insulation, a cracked floor, and in the corner, a pile of blankets and trash. And bones, I swear to God, small ones, like from a bird, maybe, or a rabbit, all stacked neatly, arranged almost. There was a doll's head, too, hair mostly gone, eyes scratched out. Marcus backed up, hand over his mouth. What the actual? We didn't speak for a full minute. Then I saw it. Scratched into the wood by the makeshift bedding were words, dozens of them, over and over again in shaky letters. He watches me sleep. He watches me sleep. He watches me sleep. Marcus called the police. They came, took photos, asked questions, treated me like I was a weirdo. The officer in charge, older guy, tired eyes, told me quietly, we had calls about this place before. Years back, a woman went missing. Never solved it. I moved out a week later. But that wasn't the end. Because after I left, I started finding things in my new place. Tiny things. A coin on the windowsill that I never owned. A single button in the sink. A folded piece of paper under my bed that read, "You looked at me." I started locking everything obsessively. I bought cameras. I slept with a knife under my pillow. I stopped talking to people. Lost clients. Couldn't focus. Then, one night, I got to get water. Walked past the hallway mirror and stopped because behind me, just for a second, I saw a movement. I spun around. Nothing. But on the mirror, written in condensation, were the words, "I'll watch you sleep now." I threw the mirror in the trash that night. Smashed it first, just in case. And here's the worst part. The part one never tell people, not even Marcus. Sometimes when I wake up late at night, I still hear it. That soft scratching. From inside the walls. It's not every night. Just enough to let me know he's still there. Watching. Waiting.